It's my pleasure to invite you today to our series on Protected for a Purpose. Many of us wonder as to why we exist. The term cogito ergo sum, meaning I'm thinking, therefore I exist, is a foundational philosophical statement coined by French philosopher René Descartes. It means that the very act of thinking, doubting, or being deceived is undeniable proof that a conscious you exists to have those thoughts. Descartes used a method of radical doubt, questioning whether his senses, his memories, or the entire physical world was actually real. He even imagined a scenario where an all powerful evil demon was constantly deceiving his mind. However, he realized that there is one thing that cannot be doubted: the act of doubting itself. Even if you are completely wrong about everything, or even if your mind is being manipulated, there must be a thinking entity, a conscious subject that is being wrong or manipulated. Therefore, every time you think I might not exist, you are confirming your own existence. Many people burn their midnight lamps, searching as to why they exist. Some have argued that people are born, they live, they die, they are buried, and are forgotten forever. Today, I want us to take on a long journey of learning to have insights and appreciate that we all exist to serve a divine purpose. In our series of Protected for a Purpose, today I invite you to the book of Acts chapter 27 and 28, in which in our part 1 of the series we shall encounter a man named Aristarchus. In every ministry, there are faithful hands and willing hearts that may never stand at the pulpit or sing in the choir, yet their services is indispensable. They are the ones who prepare the sanctuary before worship, manage the finances with integrity, visit the sick quietly, or ensure that the sound system works so the word can be heard. Like Aristarchus with Paul, or the Maltese people, those people who lived in the island of Malta, who showed kindness to strangers, these behind the scenes servants remind us that God's work is advanced not only by those in the spotlight, but also by those whose faithfulness is often unseen. Their devotion is a living testimony that in Christ's body, every part matters and every act of service contributes to the mission of the gospel. Among Paul's companions, Aristarchus stands out as a devoted believer whose loyalty and courage shine through the New Testament. Though mentioned only briefly, his presence is in critical moments of Paul's ministry reveals a man of steadfast faith. Aristarchus was a Greek from Thessalonica, and his willingness to share in Paul's hardship made him a trusted companion. It is believed that Aristarchus is one of the converts when Paul was on his second missionary journey to Thessalonica. His example teaches Christians today about devotion, courage, and importance of standing with God's servants. Aristarchus' life is marked by deep dedication to the ministry, appearing in 5 distinct New Testament moments. The first instance is the riot at Ephesus as recorded in the book of Acts chapter 19 verses 29. Aristarchus and Gaius were seized by an angry mob during a pagan riot and dragged into the city theater. The second incident is the journey to Jerusalem in Acts chapter 20 verses 4. He traveled with Paul alongside other delegates to deliver offerings to the church in Jerusalem. Third incident is the voyage to Rome as recorded in the book of Acts chapter 27 verses 2. He accompanied Paul on the perilous storm-tossed sea voyage where Paul was being transported as a prisoner to Rome. The fourth incident is the imprisonment, as recorded in the book of Colossians, chapter 4, verses 10, and in the book of Philemon, chapter 1, verses 24. While in Rome, Paul referred to Aristarchus as his fellow prisoner and fellow worker, alongside Mark, Demas, and Luke, showing that he remained by Paul's side while the apostle was in chains. The fifth case is in the church traditions. Beyond the scriptures, early church tradition honors Aristarchus as one of the bishops. He is said to have been appointed by Paul as the first bishop of Apamea in Syria and was eventually martyred in Rome under the persecution of Emperor Nero. These references show Aristarchus as constantly present in Paul's ministry, from riots to voyages, from imprisonment to fellowship. Why Aristarchus was a close companion? 1. He shared hardships. Aristarchus did not abandon Paul in times of danger. He was seized in Ephesus, endured the storm at sea, and shared imprisonment in Rome. Secondly, faithful presence. Unlike others who deserted Paul, as we read about Demas in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 10, Aristarchus remained loyal. His consistency made him invaluable. Point number 3, trustworthiness. Paul's inclusion of Aristarchus among his fellow workers shows he was dependable in ministry tasks. Point number 4, courage. Traveling with a prisoner to Rome was risky, yet Aristarchus chose loyalty over safety. The lessons we can learn as Christians today from the life of Aristarchus are: number 1, devotion to Christ's mission. Aristarchus reminds us that true discipleship involves sacrifice. He did not seek comfort but stood with Paul in hardship. Number 2, loyalty to God's servants. Just as Aristarchus supported Paul, believers today are called to support pastors, missionaries, and fellow Christians, especially in trials. Point number 3, courage in witness. Aristarchus faced riots, storms, and imprisonment. Christians must be willing to endure opposition for the sake of the gospel. Point number 4, faithful service. Though not prominent like Paul, Aristarchus' quiet faithfulness mattered. God values loyalty and consistency as much as visible leadership. Our reflection of today's session is that Aristarchus embodies the principle of bearing one another's burdens as recorded in the book of Galatians chapter 6 verses 2. His companionship illustrates how God sustains his servants through the loyalty of fellow believers. His presence alongside Paul in Rome also shows that the gospel advances through shared suffering. Aristarchus' life reminds us that ministry is not a solo journey but a communal mission where faithfulness in small roles contributes to the larger work of God. In conclusion, though mentioned only a handful of times, Aristarchus of Thessalonica leaves a powerful legacy. He was seized in riots, sailed through storms, shared imprisonment, and was counted among Paul's fellow workers. His loyalty and courage made him a close companion of Paul. For Christians today, Aristarchus teaches us to be devoted, courageous, and supportive of God's servants. His example calls us to stand firm in faith, even when it means sharing in hardships, because the advancement of the gospel often depends on such faithful companions. May the Lord continue to strengthen you as you continue also to seek his guidance and live according to the purpose that he has made in your life. May you be blessed and God bless all. Thank you.